Here in the border city, ratepayers may be paying more in property tax after City Council approved an increase of the 2022 mill rate. That was the highlight of Monday's council meeting, which also included council listing their top priorities. The 2022 mill rate and taxable assessment bylaw passed second and third reading yesterday. The residential mill rate will increase by 1.94%, while the non-residential mill rate will see a 2.68% bump compared to 2021. Property tax notices will be in the mail on June 10th, with taxes due July 25th. Lloydminster Place was also on the agenda. Council approved the addition of slow-pitch diamonds, a campground, and a pavilion with washrooms and a concession to the new arena site plan. $100,000 has been transferred over to cover the costs. Lloydminster's advocacy priority list was approved. Some of the key items on the list include securing grants from other levels of government for city projects, improving interprovincial trade, and affordable housing. The list will be used to better advocate for Lloydminster to federal and provincial governments. The city will soon own 13 new trucks. 9 half-ton trucks are being secured from a dealership in Wainwright, while 4 3/4-ton trucks will be bought from a local dealership. City Council entered into the agreement to replace some of the city's existing multi-purpose trucks that are due for replacement. The next council meeting is June 6th. An animal shelter here in the city has a new name to its business. The Lloydminster and District SPCA will now be known as Border Paws Animal Shelter. In addition to the name change, the animal shelter will move to a new location later this year. As for the name, Border Paws spoke on why it was made now despite being around for the last 50 years.
With the new building, we wanted a fresh start. We wanted something different and fun and new now that we're into a new building. We might always be known as the SPCA, and that's totally fine, but we wanted something that reflects better what we do. SPCAs have provincial and federal funding. We do not get that, and they also have bylaw enforcement officers that are able to go out and rescue animals and help animals when they're in distress. We do not have that.
Border Paws Animal Shelter expects its new location to open in this upcoming fall season. École St. Thomas wanted to share its truth and reconciliation goals by taking the chance to hang a giant dream catcher in the school. LCSD is hoping this helps spread a positive message throughout not only the students but throughout the community as well. Our Shelby Clark has the details in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Students and staff at École St. Thomas gathered together for a ceremony before the raising of the big dream catcher. The objective students on the connection between Saskatchewan schools and on evolving truth and reconciliation goals over the years.
Well, in part it's a lesson of history, but far more it's a lesson about how we treat each other in the future. And yes, it's the relationship between treaty peoples, and that's important, but every lesson where we understand that how we treat people and how we reconcile ourselves with people is fundamentally a lesson for Catholic schools to learn and then also to teach.
Students learned more on First Nations culture, like gifting tobacco to elders and snaring rabbits. Grade 7 student Sebastian McCarthy understands the history and now the importance of why it's taught through schools.
It's a part of our heritage, we're Canadian. First Nations were here before us, so we should learn their ways as they have adjusted to our ways, I think.
The Dreamcatcher is made up of 8 symbols that each represent a part of the 3 Indigenous groups across Canada. It also teaches the path toward reconciliation and what people can do to help move forward. LCSD is wanting to discuss the truth on what happened, with especially having good cultural mentors to teach.
It's a well-known fact. My husband's a residential school survivor. He's 46 years old. So it didn't happen 100,000 years ago. So when the kids see him, they know it's really recent and really affected people. And so those hard questions have been asked. And we answer them with truth.
This Dreamcatcher is a reminder to remember all the children who didn't make it home from residential schools and to make sure it never happens again. Shelby Clark, Primetime Local News.
An Alberta company is taking water bottle recycling to a whole new level. It's turning the everyday item into building materials. CTV's Joe Scarpelli explains.
Satisfying thirst, satisfying crunch, and gone. But not forgotten. This is where Kelly Rogers comes in.
Upcycling plastic waste is what we call it.
Countless water bottles emptied each day are an opportunity to fill a different need.
Essentially what happens is plastic bottles get shredded up into little pieces, they get melted down and then blown into a closed cell foam.
At Ecoplast's Lloydminster facility, it's carefully crafted into different shapes and sizes.
Engineer it into panels and then laminate it and truck it out to site in big panel sections and then put it together.
It being a home. A house made of hundreds of thousands of plastic bottles.
The idea of using recycled bottles it's a great idea.
This Jackfish Lake, Saskatchewan cabin is the first to go up in Western Canada. It only took 3 days to get the structure up. Its pieces quickly dropped into place.
It's kind of like Minecraft or Legos. It's prefabbed in the shop and they just come out with like pickers and, they just put it up so quickly.
And providing an eco-friendly option to those thirsty for change.
We're disrupting the industry a bit, so it's hard for people to envision what we're doing.
Joe Scarpelli, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, now it's time to head on over to Shelby Clark, who has a first look at our weather forecast.
Thanks so much, JCS. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We saw another beautiful day today. We are sitting at 16 right now, a mixture of some sun and cloud, and we saw lots of sun throughout the day. So hopefully everybody's enjoying this week so far. I know I am. It is absolutely gorgeous out there, and hopefully everybody's getting out there and taking advantage of this beautiful weather while we have it. Now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we have warmed up just slightly from what we were seeing yesterday, seeing around 18, 19 degrees now, so we're even getting closer to that 20-degree point. And Lac La Biche up there is now just sitting at 17. And switching now to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those double-digit temperatures as well, with around 18, 19 degrees. La Crosse is looking slightly cooler, just seeing 16. As we go a little bit lower, Macklin is also at that 17-degree range there. And for North Battleford, at that 18 point they are sitting at, they will be cooling down to 2 for their evening low. So they will be drastically cooling down quite a bit from what they are sitting at. They will be seeing more of a clear night throughout the evening, and then tomorrow they will be seeing 18 degrees as well, with seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. Switching now to Cold Lake, they'll be cooling down to that 4 mark. So we are still seeing kind of the same evening low temperatures that we have been seeing throughout the week. We are seeing still those plus temperatures, so I think we can't really complain, but they are slightly cooler than what we are hoping to see with those double digits that we saw a little bit last week. And then tomorrow they will be seeing 18 degrees as well, with a mix of some sun and cloud. And for us in the border city, we will also be seeing that 2 mark for our evening low. So we will be cooling down quite a bit. We will be seeing 18 tomorrow, so we will even be seeing a warmer day. And as we head through this week, we will be seeing even those 20-degree points. So get ready, because we will be seeing that summer season and seeing a beautiful weekend coming up here. So we will be seeing that for tomorrow. And now showing off one of your photo submissions. Thank you to everyone that submitted some gorgeous photos so far to our Facebook page. A lot of people have already. So make sure you get online and go submit a beautiful weather photo. I will be using them on my weather segments. And this one is from Brittany. I love this shot. It's a nice shot of a beach there with that beautiful sun and clouds in the sky. I thought it was gorgeous. So once again, Brittany, thank you so much for this beautiful picture. And that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Miss Rodeo Canada not only is the Canadian representative of rodeo, but one of the key representatives of the agriculture industry. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Today we have Jaden Calvert, who is our Miss Rodeo Canada for 2022, and she is here today to tell us about her journey and the stuff she's doing right now. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Jaden.
Thank you for having me, Thomas. Can't wait to have a chat.
And so Jaden, how does one compete for the crown of Miss Rodeo Canada?
So to become Miss Rodeo Canada, first you have to represent another pro rodeo within our Canadian Professional Rodeo Association. So I was so privileged to be able to take the title of Miss Rodeo Sundry to that prestigious competition in November at the Canadian Finals Rodeo in Red Deer. And at the Canadian Finals Rodeo, we had a sort of a pageant style competition to select who the 2022 Miss Rodeo Canada was going to be. There were 3 of us ladies that were vying for the title, and we competed in the areas of public speaking and horsemanship, personal interviews, written exams, and a little bit of modeling too, which was kind of cool.
And so, Jaden, what are some of the experiences that you've gotten to have as being Miss Rodeo Canada, and what are some of the highlights that you've had so far this year?
So as Miss Rodeo Canada, I get to travel across North America representing Canadian professional rodeo and the agriculture industry in Canada. So far, I've had the opportunity to travel a little bit. I was at the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas last December. I also got to take in the National Western Stock Show in Denver, Colorado this January. I went to a rodeo in Florida for a week in February. And I also made a trip to Texas. So I've been representing our Maple Leaf south of the border. And now I'm so excited that our Canadian rodeo season has finally kicked off. We've had about 5 or 6 Canadian rodeos so far up here in Alberta and British Columbia. And I've been trying to get to as many of those as possible. And my schedule is very full. I will be at least one rodeo every weekend until the end of September.
And then what skills do you need to be Miss Rodeo Canada, and where did you kind of get those skills as you were growing up?
Part of what attracted me to becoming a rodeo queen was that I felt that I already had the skills that I would need to represent the sport of rodeo because I was a very dedicated 4-H member. I spent 11 years in 4-H as a member of both the Big West Cruisers Horse 4-H Club and Two Rivers Beef Club in the Drayton Valley District. And of course, I did a whole bunch of public speaking, and being a horse 4-H member meant that I had a lot of horsemanship skills. I grew up showing and competing in different events like that. And I felt that this was the next logical step for me to utilize those very important skills that I learned growing up and to benefit the sport that I love, which is rodeo.
And so, Jaden, what are the kind of roles that you have as you finish up being Miss Rodeo Canada, as you will finish up once the year is over? And then what is next for you after Miss Rodeo Canada?
So I will be crowning a new Miss Rodeo Canada out of a field of candidates at the Canadian Finals Rodeo this November in Red Deer. That's November 2nd to 6th will be the Canadian Finals Rodeo. And I will actually continue on with the crown for the rest of 2022. So I will attend the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas in December as Miss Rodeo Canada and sort of finish out the year with all of our Canadian athletes that will be representing us down there. And then after I hand over my crown and a new Miss Rodeo Canada takes over, I will actually have to get a real job because of course right now I don't have time to have a full-time job. I'm a full-time rodeo queen for this year, but I recently last spring in 2021, I finished my agriculture degree from the University of Alberta. So I have an animal science degree and I can't wait to use it. I'm not exactly sure what my career path after this is going to look like, but I'm excited to see what opportunities come out of this year. And I'm really looking forward to the future and joining the agriculture industry in a professional capacity.
Thank you so much for your time today, Jaden, and hopefully you have inspired some more rodeo queens to try and compete for the crown of Miss Rodeo Canada from across Alberta and Saskatchewan, as you have shown from your small town roots that anybody can compete and become Miss Rodeo Canada. And so thank you so much.
That's exactly right, Thomas. Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram at Miss Rodeo Canada. And you can also follow along at missrodeocanada.ca.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's edition of The Pet Project. I'm joined back here with Nicole and a new face, so we're going to get to that here right away. So, there's so much to chat about this week, so we're just going to get right into it. So I'm going to let you, before we introduce the cat, I'll let you introduce the person holding the cat. So we have a new face, Gabrielle is her name. So I'll let you guys just kind of explain. She's going to be joining us going forward here on the Pet Project every week. So I'll just kind of let you guys introduce her.
Alrighty, so this is Gabrielle. She is our new funds and event coordinator. She's got a lot of great ideas. She's going to start bringing in that money. So it's really nice to see that we got a new face here. I'll kind of let her kind of take the lead and talk a little bit about her ideas.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few ideas coming up. We do have Minster Motor Club putting on an event with us on June 12th. We're going to be at the Pet Value parking lot, and there's going to be a barbecue. There's going to be all kinds of cool cars and a bouncy castle, and there's going to be lots of animals that you can come and pet and hold and kiss.
Beautiful. Yeah, so that's next week. So that's the first big event that you're going to be involved in. So we're all looking forward to that. Certainly mark that on your calendars for next week and stop on by, see the animals, say hi. It's going to be a good time. And there was an event that you guys held last weekend. So I'll let you kind of talk about the results of that. You know, I heard it was a lot of success. I heard it was a good time. So I'll let you guys just chat about that.
Yeah, so this last Sunday we did an event at Legacy DIY. They had a street fair. We set up a table there and we did kids face painting, and we brought along some kittens. The kittens were a huge hit. Everybody loved to see them, and the kittens loved getting out, seeing all the fresh air, the people, everything. We had a steady line of kids for face painting, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, honestly, it looked like a lot of fun. I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. I wish I could have went and got my face painted, but I'll have to save that for next time. So certainly that sounds like it was a good event. So, and before we move on, I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to introduce the cat that you guys have been petting this entire time. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce our kind of pet of the week here, our pick of the litter, so to speak.
So this is Scoozy. Scoozy is a male cat. He's about 6 months old. Very playful, good with kids, dogs, cats. The only thing about Scoozy is when he was a bit younger, he had a blockage, a urinary blockage. So he does require special food. It's a urinary food that he'll have to be on for the rest of his life just to prevent any future blockage.
Yeah, which is honestly something that is, you know, kind of typical amongst cats. I know a few friends who have cats on, you know, special urinary food, and it's not that big of a deal, trust me. He still looks like a super lovely cat and would be certainly a great addition to any home. So don't let that sway you. It just means you have to pick up a different food while you're at the store. It's really not a big deal. So certainly, if you're interested, stop on by the SPCA and say hi. And I'll parlay that into our last topic of the day, which is big news. Big news. You guys are changing the name of your organization, which comes with, you know, a few other things that we'll chat about later in the week. But just, you know, the big reveal. You guys, what are you calling yourselves from now on? What can people, you know, when they're looking for you guys on social media, what are they looking for?
So we are keeping our social media handles, Lloydminster and District SPCA, just for now. So people can get used to the new name and they don't get confused. Our website's going to stay the same just for a little while, but our new name is Border Paws Animal Shelter. So when you come in, all of our signage and our adoption package and stuff has our new name on it. We just want to slowly change the new name so that people get used to it and can remember us. It's not a big shock to everybody. So we just announced it here the other week, and so far it's been really, really a great response.
Well, that's really exciting. Honestly, it's always new, you know, changes are always something to spice things up. So very exciting. So once again, that's the Border Paws Animal Shelter. And for the time being, you know, you guys want to make sure you're following them on Instagram, on Facebook, you know, so that you can keep up to date on the happenings with the organization, so you can see all the cute pet pictures that they post, because trust me, there are lots of them and you're going to want to see them. So if you want to follow them, make it easy. Follow them now. now. That's the Lloydminster SPCA. You can still follow them there before they change their handles. But that's unfortunately all the time we have this week. I want to thank you for stopping by and saying hi. I want to thank Tuzi for taking time to stop and say hi. And we'll speak with you guys again next week.
Pet Project is sponsored by the Pet Pad. For total pet care, think Pet Pad.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Lawrence Gowan is with us here today. Lawrence is currently on tour with Styx. He'll also be doing some solo shows through the prairies here, so you've got a couple of ways to catch him over the next few months. Lawrence, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Well, it's lovely to see you again, Stacey. It's it's been a little while, and as I mentioned to you before we came on the air, your wood paneling looks every bit as lovely as it did the last time we spoke.
Yes, well, I would like to get that changed, but unfortunately, that's the way it is in small town television for now. So
Oh, are you kidding?
I
No
prefer to call
way.
it
That's-
rustic.
That is rustic cool. That's what that is.
Well, Lawrence, we are going to be seeing you here in October in Edmonton and Saskatoon. You're also coming to Regina in the summer. Before we get talking about the tour, though, I'd like to speak to you about the passing of music legend Ronnie Hawkins on the weekend. You had the chance to play with him in his band for quite some time. And can you just tell me a little bit about Mr. Hawkins, about the Hawk, I guess he was referred to, and what it was like to work with him and what he meant to music?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, because I put together a little, blurb there on the Facebook page when I heard that that I think I said that his earthly body has left us. However, like so many great musicians and people that we all have a remote relationship with, let's call it that, because of their what they do in show business or whatever it is, if they're a public figure. The spirit of Ronnie is going to stay with us for as long as we're here, really. If you really ever encountered the man, I was privileged enough to be on stage with him, and I referred to it as it was like being rocking on the piano next to this. What did I say? This is kind of how it felt. It felt like you're next to kind of this mythical king that was kind of, presiding or basically benevolently looking upon this kind of beautiful landscape that was basically created because his personality was so infectious to everyone out there. Everyone was kind of drawn into his attitude and his little rockin' way of life. He was the authentic thing. He's from Arkansas, from Little Rock originally. Basically, he was right there at the crossroads of where rock music was given birth. So he was exposed to those crosswinds, roughly of country and blues and gospel, and then this other element that rockabilly, if you want to call it that, that suddenly emerged with artists like Elvis Presley and Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis and Ronnie Hawkins. And the difference with him is what makes him so special to us is that he immigrated to Canada, and he brought all of that with him, and then he became a great success story. Gathered to him all these other great musicians were just drawn to him. There's that magnetic thing that some people have, and Ronnie certainly did. And when you look at the legacy of musicians that played in his band, it's quite a roll call. And I'm very happy that I was amongst that number. But I would stress that what I miss most, he was as much fun off stage as he was on, and that's what we've. I don't want to use the word "that's not what we've lost," but that's what we have to honor.
All right. Well, thank you so much for those words in regards to the Hawk. So many musicians paying tribute to him this week, obviously. And as you said, he came to Canada and just such a legend. So it must have been so awesome for you to play with him. And now you continue your own legacy, I guess, and going through the country on tour. You were talking about some of the ticket sales that you're looking ahead to, and it looks like people are really wanting to come out to your shows.
Are they ever? Yeah. No, I mentioned to you, our manager was here last night because we start the tour tonight here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And yeah, like 14, 15,000 tickets in advance in all these cities that we're doing across America. One Canadian show on this summer tour that's in Toronto. And those for advanced tickets for shows that some of them are 2 or 3 months away. That is a testament to just how hungry people are to get back to live music and having that back in their lives again for the visceral enjoyment that they get from, as I mentioned to you, a great rock show is the greatest form of entertainment that I've ever encountered.
Well, you're going to be out here in Edmonton and Saskatoon in October with Styx, and then in the summer in Regina, just on your own. Is there crossover between those shows when you perform solo? Do you do some of the Styx stuff too, or do you stick to just Gowan?
It's Gowan time, baby. No, I absolutely love being part of Styx. I love being part of this legendary band, going around the world and writing new songs for them, as we have on the studio albums we've done. I'd like to mention that our most recent one, Crash of the Crown, went to #1 on Billboard's rock album chart last year. So I'm very pleased to be part of that. However, my origins, just after playing with Ronnie Hawkins, my origins are as a solo artist, and revisiting those songs. Although we do play A Criminal Mind with Styx, but revisiting that catalog of those 6 albums and rehearsing with the band, as I did just the last couple of weeks when we had a break before this tour. It's revitalizing for me to reawaken those songs, to bring back that the sentiment that's in them, to kind of, because I lived those lyrics, in a lot of ways. I really, every little tiny bit of it as a solo artist, you have to kind of forge every tiny bit. You're working with other great people that bring their perspective in there, but it's a different dynamic. And when you go on stage, when I return to the stage with that, whenever I get a chance to, which is usually do about 100 Styx shows and do about anywhere from 10 to maybe as many as 15 or 16 Gowan shows. It's a great moment. It makes me feel very lucky, to have both of those things in my life. And I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to say the dates. It's June 23 in Regina, June 24 in Calgary, and June 25 in Winnipeg. There's going to be some very early morning flights involved.
Well, I'm hoping that we can catch you somewhere with those shows, or as you mentioned, Styx in October too. So Lawrence, It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I really enjoy it. I know we could probably chat for, another half hour or so, but unfortunately the newscast doesn't allow me to chat for longer. So thank you so much for speaking with, I know. I'll talk to the higher ups and see if we can change that. Maybe we can change it to the Gowan hour.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, they can give us a bit more time. We're down to 4 teams in the Stanley Cup final now. I mean, there's not that much to talk about yet.
Right. Well,
Anyway.
there you go. Well, thank you so much again, Lawrence. Like I said, always a pleasure chatting with you, and we hope to catch you at some of your shows out here over the next couple of months.
Thank you so much. I wish I'd done a better job of trying to half make that bed for this interview. Anyway, great to see you again, Stacey, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
Ending off with taking a quick look at your 7-day forecast now. We will be seeing a nice warm day tomorrow with Wednesday with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds, so get ready. We are seeing some beautiful temperatures coming up for this week. 21 and 22 Thursday and Friday. So we are going to be seeing a beautiful start to the weekend, and as you can see, those temperatures on the weekend as well, with 20 on Saturday, 18 on Sunday. We're going to be seeing a beautiful weekend coming up here in the border city. So finally, we are seeing that summer season slowly moving in here in the border city, and then we will be continuing that warm streak next Monday and Tuesday.
Thanks so much for that, Shelby, and thank you all for joining us tonight on Primetime Local News. Our second hour continues next.